This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good deal. We're recording. Okay, so we left off last week with a whole bunch of homework. So that's what we're going to start out with, is going through and correcting your homework. Make sure everybody got it done. And then we're going to go into appliance install and combustion air. And combustion air is a big component of it. So like I said in the email I sent, this class this morning, we might go into 2 hours of time. But it'll all be recorded, so if anyone has to jump off early or whatever, not a problem. I know there's some guys who contacted me and said they, for whatever reason couldn't do this or that. That's fine. Everything's recorded. The last meeting is also recorded and up on the YouTube website. I sent out a link to that, so we'll continue to do that. So we had this gas piping installation practice exam, and you had to use the good practices book to find all the answers to these questions. So we're going to start out with Tyson. Tyson, what did you get for number 1, and where did you find it in the Questar good practices book, or Dominion Energy? Sorry, I'm so used to calling
Questar. Under stairways and interior and exterior.
All right. What page of the book did you find that on?
I didn't find it in the book. I had to refer to another RMGA study guide because I didn't know if there was any other paperwork on it.
Didn't you get a copy of the this good practices book that's on? Can you see on my screen this good practices book?
Yeah, I downloaded the app.
Okay, this is also in the app. So the correct answer here is right here. Meters should not be set under roof valleys or other places where excessive amounts of water, snow, ice would drip from the roof onto the meter and freeze. And that is found on page 33 of the good practices book. It's also in the app. Okay. You'll want to highlight that, because you can't take the app into the test with you, but you can take this into the test with you as long as it's in your nice little clean binder that you're going to build. Okay. All right. Well, let's keep going. What did you get for number 2, Tyson, and where did you find it at?
I got at least 3 feet in any direction.
Okay, so the question is, what is the recommended distance for a gas meter from any permanent opening into a building? And yeah, Questar Gas requires a service line riser meter and regulator to be located 3 feet away from any permanent opening into a building. So page 33 of the book. Again, I recommend you highlight it. Okay, we'll keep going with you for a little bit, Tyson, then we'll switch to someone else. So number 3 on your practice, what did you get for that one?
14 inches and 30 inches.
Okay, where'd you find that at?
Same place you're looking, good practices.
Okay, good deal. It's on page 34 of the good practices book. It's also in the app. Okay. And again, I'd highlight that. And I'll probably say it 100 times. You can't take your phone or your iPad into the test, but you can take your study guide. So I'd have the study guide with all this stuff highlighted. That way it'll just be easier for you to find it. Okay, number 4, Tyson. What was the answer to that? How far through a foundation?
Gas piping shall enter and exit a building at a point above grade, and the annular space between the pipe and the wall shall be sealed.
Okay, so the question they were asking was, how far through a foundation should gas piping extend? So let's go back over to the book. So here on 33, fuel lines should extend 3 inches past exterior surface of structure, brick, siding, stucco, etc. And on the next page, they even show you a picture. house piping to appliances to extend 3 inches through foundation. Okay. So know where to find the information. That's all this test is really about, is just knowing where to find the information. So if you've gone through and highlighted everything and tabbed it and stuff, you'll do real good. Every answer to every question on the test is somewhere in a book that you can have with you. Okay. All right, let's see. Number 5, Tyson, what did you get for that one? And then we'll go pick on someone else.
Copper pipe or tubing and PVC.
Okay. Where'd you find that at?
I'm kind of just referring to another RMGA class guide that I had,
Okay.
and some of the stuff that we've highlighted is some of the questions that were asked.
Okay.
It's almost similar to what the app is like.
Okay. Good deal. Well, in this case, in the book I sent you.
Is that one with Mr.
Go ahead,
Hey, Wade.
Brandon.
Is that one with Mr. Diet? It's this book right here.
Ah, old Dean Diet's book. It's probably got some pretty good stuff
Yes,
in
sir.
it. You decide for yourself whether you want to use his or mine. Okay. So the answer to
Yeah,
that.
some of it's, a few of it's backwards.
Yeah, he's a little backwards, but we won't spend any time bashing him. So the answer to that question is found on page 37, right here. Copper pipe or tubing shall not be used for gas in Questar service area due to the hydrogen sulfide that they put in the gas. And you can also find that in the International Fuel Gas Code. So that's another book you can have with you in the test. So you can go right to this section of the IFGC and you'll find this exact same language. All right, very good. We'll stop picking on Tyson for a little bit.
Wait, can you hear me
We'll go
now?
down to Alan. Alan, take us on number 6. What's the answer and where did you find it?
6. We got the heat fusion method. Must
Okay.
be done by a qualified person. Page
Okay.
38.
Page 38. Okay. So it talks about it all the stuff there. Okay. It's right there. Heat fusion method. It's also in the IFGC, which is another book you can take with you into the exam, and you'll find that exact same verbiage right there in the IFGC. Okay. So there's multiple places for you to get this information. Very good. All right, number 7, Alan. What's the answer and where'd you get that one?
Need an insulated yellow tracer wire on page 38. Running the whole way, not touching the pipe.
All right, so right there, a minimum number 18 insulated yellow copper tracer wire shall be installed underground with non-metallic gas piping and shall terminate above grade at each end. Tracer wire shall not come in contact with the plastic piping. Oh, and looky there. There's another book you can get and go find that exact same verbiage. Why do you think they want a tracer wire installed with that plastic pipe?
For blue stakes to find it.
Yeah,
road.
so they can find it, so if you're going to dig a hole, you don't hit it. All right, good deal. All right, we're going to keep going with you for a bit, Alan. So number 8, what's the answer to that and where'd you get it?
I have the material is plastic polyethylene and not PVC. Page 38 and 39.
Okay. Yep, so they talk about it on page 38 and page 39. Okay. So again, find the answers and highlight them. Okay. All right. Let's see. Number 9. What'd you come up with there?
12-inch underground.
12 inches
Page
underground.
39.
All right. Plastic pipe used for underground customer fuel lines must be buried a minimum of 12 inches. Okay. Highlight that stuff. Oh, and look, here's another book, the IFGC, and it tells you right where to go to find this exact same verbiage. Okay. So 2 different books you can have with you to find the information. And these are typical of some of the questions you're going to see on the test. Okay, so Alan, number 10, what was the answer to that and where did you get it?
To single outside appliance shall be installed a minimum of 8 inches below grade, provided such installation is approved and installed in locations not susceptible to physical damage. Page 39.
Good deal, right there. Okay, all highlighted. And it's also in the IFGC. That's what this is telling you here when you see this. You can go to the International Fuel Gas Code book to section 404.12, and this exact same verbiage will be in there. Okay, good job, Alan. We'll go ahead and pick on someone else for the next 5. Tran, what'd you come up with on number 11?
I'm here. I'm sorry. I got knocked off.
Oh, no worries.
Okay. 11,
Number 11, what was the answer and where did you find it?
page 39, bonded to the electrical service grounding electrode system at the point where the fuel line enters the electrode systems at the point where, and I've got to finish it on 39.
Okay, it's all right there. And there's even a figure for bonding requirements in the IFGC. Okay. Okay, Tran. Number 12.
All right. Number 12 is page 40. Let me see. What is the proper method for sizing CSST? For sizing CSST, use the manufacturer installation instructions sizing chart or the IFGC CSST table.
Okay, very good. So manufacturer's instructions, sizing charts, or the International Fuel Gas Code has a table for sizing corrugated stainless steel tubing is what CSST stands for. Awesome. You guys all did your homework. I'm so proud of you. Okay, what'd you come up with on number 13, Tran?
It's on page 40. It's not allowed to enter or exist a building at a point below grade.
Okay.
Maybe I got that wrong.
No, it should be there somewhere. Hold on.
Which one am I doing? Which one was it again? 13?
Sorry, number 13. Gas piping shall enter and exit a building at a point.
And it says above grade.
I would go over to this page.
Oh, I got 43. I probably got the wrong one.
Okay.
Gas pipe installed above buildings shall not be run. Is that right?
No, so
No.
we're on number 13. Gas piping shall enter and exit a building at a point. And we go to the good practices book, page 43. Okay. And we find gas piping shall enter and exit a building at a point above grade, and the annular space between the pipe and the wall shall be sealed. You can also find.
Here, but I didn't have it.
Say that again.
I have the above grade on my paper, but I don't have it highlighted. I don't know why
Ah,
it's not.
okay.
Everything else on it is highlighted, but not that one.
Okay, good deal. And again, like I said, you can take these books. So this book that we're going through right now, if you have the real copy, I don't know if it'll show up on my camera. Probably not. No. And the one I've given you, and then also in the International Fuel Gas Code, you can find it there. Okay. Good deal. All right. Trend number 14.
Okay.
Name 6 items gas piping may not be run in or through when installed in any building, and where did you find it?
Page 43. And air ducts, closed chutes, chimneys. Hold on. or vents, ventilating ducts, dumbwaiters, or elevator shafts.
Okay. We can't run gas line through air ducts. Wow. How many of you have been on jobs where you've seen the gas line run through like the returns and things like that? All right, it's against code. All right, good job. Trend number 15. Gas piping installed in exterior location shall be what? And where did you find that answer?
Page 44. And gas piping. Let's see, gas piping installed in exterior location shall be protected from corrosion and physical damage.
Okay, very good. So that's right there. And then the next question, gas piping installed on a roof shall be what?
3.5 inches above
3.5
grade.
inches above grade or roof surface. It's also in the International Fuel Gas Code, section 404.9. Awesome. Okay, let's see. We'll have you do number 17, Tran, and then we'll switch to someone else. So number 17, where did you find it? What's the answer?
Page 14, or page 14, page 44.
Page 44.
Yeah, and let me see, 17. From corrosion by approval, and let me see, hold on. Underground ferrous. I know I've got, okay. New installation of underground ferrous gas pipe shall be chaotically protected.
Chaotically, I like it.
Chaotically.
Cathodically protected.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
That's all right. I like chaotically better. That's better. Cathodically protected. It just means protected from corrosion. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Okay. We'll pick on someone else now. Let's see. How about Robbie? God, I keep wanting to call you Randy. Robbie.
That's the name of my brother, actually.
I know you told me that before, and for whatever reason, I keep wanting to call you by your brother's name. Number 18, what's the answer, and where did you find that one at?
Okay, 18 was on page 44, and it's cathodically.
Okay, yeah, we just did that one. Sorry, 19.
Oh, okay, 19.
Hello.
Okay, number 19.
Yep, number 19. Underground gas piping shall not be covered or concealed until
Inspected by the administrative authority, and you will find that on page 45.
All right there. Underground gas piping shall not be covered by or concealed until inspected by the administrative authority. Good deal. Okay, Robbie. Number 20. Where'd you find the answer to that one at?
Oh, rats! I forgot to write down the page number on that one.
Okay, I'll help you.
Probably 46. Is that right?
46. Okay. What type of gas fittings may not be concealed? Concealed pipings, unions, bushings, regulators, shutoff valves, flex connectors, gas hoses.
Gas hoses and automatic valves.
Okay. You can also find that in the International Fuel Gas Code in section 404.5. There is an exception. If a fitting is listed for concealment, then you can conceal it. Okay. All right. Okay. 21. Is that true or false? False?
False.
Where'd you find the answer to that?
I think page 46.
Yeah, 46 talks all about shutoff valves right here. They have to be accessible. Okay. All right. And 22. What'd you get for that?
Okay, 22, an approved shutoff valve shall be installed within 6 feet and in the same room, and I found that on page 46.
Okay, 46. It's right here in shutoff valves. 6 feet and within this and in the same room. Okay. So I'd have all this stuff highlighted. You can take these papers, this book, this PDF, if this is what you have, and put it in your binder that you're building and take this right into the test with you. It's an open book exam. Okay, Robbie, I'm just going to let you finish because we have 2 more questions. So On number 23, looking at the following diagram, what is wrong with this installation?
Okay, hopefully this, I don't know if this is correct or not, but the gas shutoff is not ahead of the union?
Correct. That's absolutely correct.
Hot damn.
The gas shutoff has to be ahead of the union. Because look at this. If I want to take this union apart to do something, I can't turn the gas off here. If I take the union apart, I'm going to have gas spewing out all over, right? The gas valve's
That's
got to
right.
be back here. Then I can turn the gas off, undo the union, and take the furnace out or do work on it or whatever, okay? In this case, if I wanted to break this union open, I'd have to go out to the meter and turn the whole gas system off, okay? All right, and it says right here, right in the book, must be ahead of the union. Perfect. Okay. Oh, we got a few more. Okay, number 24. Where'd you get that one at, Robbie?
Page 46 or 47, I can't remember.
Okay, page 46. Right here, a listed shutoff valve shall be installed upstream of each medium pressure regulator. You can also find this in the IFGC 409. Okay. All right, Robbie, I'll have you do 25 and then we'll pick on someone else for a while. So what'd you get for 25?
Okay, outside the building and connected to the rigid gas piping, and I found that on page 47.
Hey, look at that right there. Okay, good job. All right, let's see. Jordan, you got Mike yet?
Yeah, I do.
Now I can hear you. That's good. All right, Jordan, take us through the next few. 26. What'd you get for that one?
A PSIG of 3 and 10 minutes with no drop.
And where did you find it?
Page 47 of good practices.
All right, right there. Pressure testing. Okay. By the way, this is also in the IFGC. Okay. Good deal. Okay, 27. What'd you get for that?
I got C 7.5.
7.5. And how did you figure that out?
I just did 5 times 1.5.
Okay. Because right here on page 48, it says pipe carrying gas at pressures in excess of 2 psi. Pressure shall be tested at 1.5 times the proposed maximum working pressure. So he took 5 times 1.5 and came up with 7. And that is also in the IFGC section 406. Good deal. Okay. What'd you get for number 28 there, Jordan?
If test dial stops, page 49.
Okay. So 48 and 49. So if you're doing a meter spot test, and it explains all about how to do a meter spot test. If you're going to watch the 1 cubic foot dial, you have to watch it for 7 minutes. Go and figure. Okay. All right. 29. What did you come up with that one on, Jordan?
An appliance connector shall have the capacity not less than the demand of the connected appliance on page 49 as well.
Okay, there you go. Appliance connectors, gas flex connectors. You guys all know they're rated to carry certain amounts of gas. I've gone into homes and seen like those little skinny gas flexes you can buy at Lowe's and Home Depot that are rated for 30,000 BTUs hooked up to 110,000 BTU furnaces.
Oh, they're
Doesn't
real
work. Doesn't work. Okay. You can also find that in the International Fuel Gas Code. Okay. Again, so 2 sources to find the information. Okay. Number 30.
What is the maximum allowed length for a flexible connector? I have shall not exceed 6 feet on page 50.
Okay. Flexible connectors shall have an overall length not to exceed 6 feet and are limited to 1 connector per appliance. You can also find that right there in the IFGC. Okay. All right. Good deal. Okay, so we only have 5 more left, so we'll pick someone else. Let's see, Brandon, how about you? What'd you come up with on number 31? Got to turn your mic on.
Faults.
Faults. Where'd you find that information at?
Page 50, flexible connectors shall not be concealed within or extended through walls, floors, partitions, or ceilings, or appliance housings.
Appliance housings. There is an exception. Fireplace inserts that are factory equipped with a grommet, sleeve, or other means of protection in accordance with the listing of the appliance. That's the only time that you can run a flex connector through an appliance. All right, very good. Okay. And of course, that leads us to number 32. When is it permissible to run a flex connector through an appliance housing? Oh, we just talked about it right there.
On the same page. Yeah, on the same page underneath the paragraph that I just read.
Right there, the exception. Okay, very good. Okay, 33, Brandon. How shall gas piping be sized?
On the next page, the second paragraph, gas piping shall be sized using CFH to obtain the cubic feet per hour of gas.
Okay, so it'll be sized by using the CFH or converting to CFH. Remember, we did that last time. We converted BTUs to CFH. Okay, we're going to go over a whole bunch of that today to make sure that you got that straight up. So anyone who was struggling with that, don't worry. We're gonna go over it all today and make sure you understand it. So don't sweat it. Okay, 34, Brandon. What'd you come up with there?
1 inch.
And why? What's the reasoning behind that?
And the 1 inch minimum pipe size is required to allow for furnace appliance load. It's on page 51.
Okay, so they're
about three or four paragraphs down.
Right there. I'm assuming you can all see my screen with the highlighted stuff in the book. And is it big enough for you to see it? I can make it bigger if that helps. Is that better?
I can see it.
Okay. All right, so right there, they recommend a 1 inch minimum pipe size to allow for future upgrades. All right, and final question on that one. What is the minimum required pipe size to support a meter set?
Questar, on page 51 as well, Questar Gas Company requires a 3/4 inch minimum pipe size through the wall for meter support.
Okay, good job.
On page 51.
Okay, now that you've got all that, okay, you've got it all highlighted, you should have it all highlighted, organized in your book so that on test day, you can go in and know where to find all the information. Again, this test is an open book exam. You can take the good practices book. You can take the International Fuel Gas Code. You can take this manual that you're building with you into the exam, okay? And as long as you know where to find the information, every answer to every question is in one of the books that you'll have in there with you. All right, we had another homework. It was convert BTUs to CFH, okay? Because that is the first step of sizing gas lines. And that's where I find that a lot of guys have problems. They forget this step. They forget to convert to CFH. So we're going to go through these. Turner, we'll start with you. Will you take us through, I don't know, take us from Salt Lake down to Ogden. What did you come up with, and what was the formula? How'd you figure it out?
Give me a second. I'm trying to open my document that I had it in. The formula for Salt Lake, was it 100,000, and then you go in the table in the best practices book on page 124, 123 for Salt Lake. The BTU per cubic foot is 890, so you divide 100,000 divided by 890, which would be 112.35.
Okay.
Man, my document will not open.
I hate it when that happens.
I did them all and saved it, and it's given me an error.
Okay. You were exactly correct. 112 CFH.
Yeah.
Okay. And you found the information in the good practices book on page 124 for Salt Lake. So what I like to do is I come over here and I'm going to highlight that, because I bet you sometime in the near future when you take some certain exam, you're going to have to find that information. So make it easy on yourself. Okay, what'd you come up with on the next one there, Turner?
I'm just gonna have to do it here. So is that Hennifer and 80,000, or Heber? Hennifer. So Hennifer, same page. So just divide 80,000 divided by Hennifer's BTU per cubic foot, which is 851, and you get 94.0.
94. All right, let's just go back into the book and see. So he found Hennifer. So I would highlight Hennifer. BTUs per cubic foot, 851. Come back here, and that's the formula. 80,000 divided by 851 equals 94 CFH. Okay, let's go ahead and do Park City now.
So Park City is 75,000 divided by 803, which is 93.39.
Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, one more time just so you can see. So he came back over here and he had to find Park City. Oh, there it is. So I take my highlighter, highlight Park City. BTUs per cubic foot, 803. Come back over here. 75,000 divided by 803 equals 93 CFH. Okay. How about Tooele? What'd you come up with there on that one?
Does that say 80,000?
Yes, 80,000.
So Tooele is 80,000 divided by 867, which is 92.27.
Okay, very good. What'd you come up for with price?
Price, so let's do 35,000 divided by 896. And that would be 39.06.
Okay, very good. Okay, what'd you come up with on Roosevelt?
So 60,000 divided by 913 is 65.71.
Okay. Or 66, right? Because you all understand rounding.
What does that mean, Wade?
Okay. You could round that to 66. You'd still be fine. Okay.
Can I square it instead of round it?
No, it must be round. No squaring or triangling. All right. What about Moab? What'd you come up with on Moab?
So 120,000 divided by Moab's BTUs per hour is 923. And so that's 130.01.
130 CFH. Okay. Okay, Provo.
So Provo, take the 85 divided by 868 So that's 97.92 or 98.
Okay, or 98. Because we all understand rounding. All right, last one for you, Turner, and then we'll pick on someone else. What'd you get there?
So 40,000 divided by Ogden's 890. So that's 44.94 or 45.
45. Very good. Everyone get all those same answers so far? Okay. All right, go ahead. Let's see. We'll go ahead and pick on, let's see. Kurt Daly. We haven't picked on you for a bit. So take us, start us off at Logan and take us down to Sigurd, would you? So what'd you come up with
Logan,
there?
I put 30,000 BTU divided by 880 on the cubic feet or whatever, and I got 34.09.
Okay, 34.
34.
Very good. Okay, Milford.
Milford, I got 75,000 BTU divided by 889. And I got 84.
84. Very good. Okay, Scipio.
Got 33,425 BTU divided by 879 for Scipio, and it is 38.
38. Very good. Okay. Hey, Richfield, right where you're at.
I got 50,000 BTU divided by 838, which is 60, rounded up. 59.66.
Okay, 59.66 or 60 because we all understand rounding. Okay, Monroe Mountain, one of my favorite places to go. What'd you come up with there?
Let's do 47,300 divided by 835, which is 57.
57. Okay. Or 56.64. All right. Next one, what'd you get there?
Got 30,000 BTU divided by 838, which is 36.
36. Okay, very good. Everybody else get the same answers on all those? Anybody have questions, concerns, problems?
Yeah, that's.
What was that?
Oh, I meaning to turn my mic off.
Oh, okay, no problem. All right, let's see. Tyson, have we picked on you yet?
Not for this.
Okay, well then let's have you finish the last few there. Cedar City, what would you come up with there?
$169.69.
169.69. Okay, what number did you use to divide by?
The 825.
825. Okay. You said you come up with 169, or it could be 167 if you round up. Okay, how about Hurricane? What'd you get there? Take us through the process.
So 90,000 divided by 903 is 99.66.
Okay, or we could call that 100 because we all understand rounding. Okay, next one. What'd you get there?
I didn't get this paper sent to me, so I'm doing it now.
You didn't get it in the email I sent to you?
No, I've been looking for it and I can't find it, so is 228.05.
Okay, what was the number you divided by? What's the BTU per cubic foot up in Rock Springs?
877.
And you said you got your answer was 228?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, what about Evanston?
Uh, 110,000 divided by 809 is 135.97 or 136.
Okay. And the very last one.
So 63,500 divided by 823. 77.15.
Okay. 77. All right. Did everybody get all those same answers? Is anyone confused, lost, or need any help? That is step number 1 for sizing gas line. You always convert BTUs to CFH. You do that by taking the BTU and dividing it by the BTUs per cubic foot of the gas in the area that you're working in. This is simply telling you that in every cubic foot of gas, there's, like in Salt Lake, every cubic foot of gas, so imagine a 12 by 12 by 12 box or a cube, 1 cubic foot, there's 890 BTUs worth of heat energy in there, in that cubic foot, okay? And depending on where you're at in the state, the heat energy contained in a cubic foot of gas changes, and it can change dramatically. That's why we have to do that thing called derate for altitude, because down in Salt Lake, I have more heat energy in a cubic foot of gas than I do, let's say, look down here in Clear Creek. There's only 773 BTUs available in a cubic foot of gas. So we have to adjust and tweak our furnaces because of this, okay? At sea level, and when furnaces come out of the factory, they all of these are 1,000. There's 1,000 BTUs in a cubic foot of gas, and that's what they use for factory setup. And that's basically what it is at sea level. But as you come up in altitude or get different gas supplies, you can see they change, and they can change dramatically. So you'll want to make sure you know where to find that information, okay? All right, good job, guys. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over, I gave you a bunch of gas line schematics to figure out. We did the first one together, okay? That was the Moab one. So the first thing we did was, I'm going to just recap for you. We're working in Moab, so we need to know what the BTU content per cubic foot is in Moab. So I go over to my good practices book, and I find Moab. 923, okay? So I just mark that up here in my schematic. So now I don't have to go back to the book anymore because I'll forget that number. And then what is the only distance we use when we size gas line? Most remote distance, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's the only distance you use. This is the other mistake I see guys make, is they start trying to add numbers up for each branch and they size it that way, okay? The good practices book says right on page, okay, longest run example, okay? You always use the longest run method, okay? And so it takes you right through it, longest run sizing method, and it explains it. Of course, we're going to go through it all, but the book shows you examples. They give you an example in the book. I've given you a bunch of examples to do, okay? So we'll go back to Moab. So our most remote distance on that one we determined was 28 feet. Okay, and then we just start picking out the sections. So section number 1 right here, and these are the kind of schematics you're going to see on the test. So this section of gas, section 1, has to be able to carry enough gas to supply every appliance in this design, correct? Okay, so we have to add up all the BTUs for that and convert them to CFH, and when we did it, we came up with 151, and then we go over to the book, okay, and we're using 4 ounces of pressure. That's the other thing you need to know. What pressure are we working with? 4 ounces. And this is exactly how you're going to see the schematics on the test, okay? Or very close to it. They're going to give you the pressure. They're going to give you a city, okay? So I go back to the book. Okay, I'm working off the 4 ounce pressure table, because if you'll notice underneath that, there's a 2 PSI pressure table. So make sure you're on the right table. I don't have 28 listed, so I go to the next highest number and I go across until I find 151. Well, I don't have 151, but I got 199. That'll work. And I go up and I get 3/4 pipe. Okay, everyone with me? All right, so we did the first one together. We're going to go over to the next one, Salt Lake City. So you had another one here to do. So let's see. Let's take Alan. Alan, will you take us through this one? First of all, what pressure are we working with?
What pressure are we working with? 4 ounces.
Okay. And where are we working at?
Salt Lake City.
Okay. What is the BTU per cubic foot for Salt Lake City?
890.
And where did you find that information at?
Page 123 of the Standard Duration Factors Good Practices book.
Okay, right there in the book. So I'm going to go up there and I'm just going to go ahead and make it easy for me, and I'm going to type that number right in there, 890. All right. What is your most remote distance on this gas line schematic?
Most remote distance is 88 feet. Dale
Okay.
Jr.
All right. So how'd you figure that out? What'd you do? You came down here, you went 20
I decided
10.
that 18 feet was longer than 8 feet, so I added 20 plus 10 plus 30 plus 10 plus 18.
All right. 20 plus 10 plus 30 plus 10 plus 18 gave us a most remote distance of 88 feet. That is the only distance we will work with, okay? That's the only distance you care about. Don't start trying to size each branch based off of their single distances. I see guys do that. That's how they screw this up all the time. You only use the most remote distance. Okay, Alan, section 1.
Section 1. I did on the chart, 88 feet's not on there. You go all the way to 90. Oh, you want to know BTUs first? Sorry.
Okay, so what'd you do first? You had to add up all your BTUs, right?
My bad. First, I added up BTUs, which came to 245,000.
And then what did you do with that?
Then I divided by 890 BTUs per cubic foot.
And what did that give you?
275.
275 CFH. All right, now that you got your CFH for section 1, we can go over to the Good Practices book and we go to page 55, thereabouts. All right. And we needed 275 CFH, and we were going 88 feet, and we are at the 4 ounce pressure, so we're at 4 ounces. I got to find 88 feet. Well, 88 feet doesn't exist, so I go up to 90, correct? Okay, and I needed 275 CFH. So I read across Will 1/2 inch do? No, that only gives me 52. 3/4, that only gives me 110 CFH. 1 inch only gives me 207. 1.25 inches. That will give me 424 CFH. So I draw a line. Oh, if I can get my damn line tool. Need 1.25 inch pipe, right?
Correct.
Okay. That'd be if you did it in decimals, that's what it looked like. Or here, let's just do it this way so we don't get too confusing. Okay. So that's how you size section 1. Now, how about section 2? How did you size that one? Take us through the process.
So section 2 starts on the other side of that 70,000 cooktop. So
Okay.
I subtracted that from my total, 245K minus 70K, and I come up with 175,000 BTUs needed for section 2.
Okay, and then you had to do what to that BTU number?
Divide by 890 again.
And what did you come up with?
196.6. 197.
97. Okay. Then we went over to our book. Let me go ahead and delete. All right. We only use the most remote distance. Okay. We don't have 88, so we use 90. Okay. And we needed 196 or 197. So I come across here until I find, and that won't work. 1 inch won't. Oh, yeah, 1 inch will work, won't it? That gives us 207. Hey, that'll work. Okay. So once I find the number that works, then I just go up. Tells me I need 1 inch pipe, right? Is that what you came up with?
Yes, 1 inch pipe, correct.
All right. Okay. Just go ahead and put that in there. 1 inch. Remember, this is an open book exam, guys. You can take these, if you have a nice, neat, put together notebook like you're supposed to be doing, you can take that notebook or study guide into the test with you, and you'll have all this stuff as reference material. Okay, go ahead and take us through section 3. What was your process for determining that?
Section 3 starts after the fireplace, which was 40,000 BTU.
Okay.
So I subtracted from my 175 on section 2, subtracted 40,000, come up with 135,000 for section 3. Divide by 890 BTUs a cubic foot, and that gives me 151.6 or 152.
Okay. And then
So then go back over to the sizing graph. Same thing, come down the side all the way to 90 feet because you're going above 88. Over, you end up with the same size of pipe because your 151 is greater than 110 but less than 207. 1 inch pipe.
1 inch pipe. Okay. All right, finish us off on the rest. How'd you do the cooktop?
The cooktop, you just take 70,000 BTU divided by 890. That gives me 78.6 or 79. Oops. And same thing, back over to 90 feet on the graph, but you only need 3/4. 90 feet, you come over to 110, get you 3/4 pipe.
Okay, we just move that over to there. We go 3/4 pipe.
Yes, sir. Fireplace, 40,000 BTUs divided by 890 for Salt Lake City. That gives me 44.9 or 45. And then back to page 55, go down to 90 feet. First number there is 52, which is greater than 45, half-inch pipe.
Half-inch pipe. All right, look at that. Look how easy this is. This ain't nothing but a thing, right, guys?
Kind of.
Kind
Fireplace. 100,000 BTUs divided by 890 gives me 112 CFH. And then on the graph, you got to go 112 is barely greater than 110. So I did 1-inch pipe, even though it.
Yep. Always go bigger. You always have to go bigger, even if we're only off by 2 CFH. But you have to go to the next biggest one. Okay. Always go to the next biggest one, even if it's off by 1 CFH. Go to the next biggest one. Okay. Don't forget that. That's important.
And the last was water heater, right? 35,000 BTU divided by 890 gives me 39. And then once again, 39 falls under 52 on the first line of that graph, half-inch pipe.
Half-inch. All right. That's what your schematic for that one should look like. Okay. Again, this will all be recorded, so I know some of you didn't get some of these things, or Carlos, somebody beat you up on the bus and stole your backpack or whatever. So you can come back and look at the recordings and go through them all. And if you're missing any of these things, you got to email me or call me, and I'll get them to you. Okay. All right. We're going to go over to Brian Head. Let's see. Jordan, my man. Take us through Brian Head.
All right.
Start out, what pressure are we working with?
Our pressure for Brian Head is 708 BTUs.
No, start again. What's our pressure? Gas pressure.
Oh, sorry. Our total gas pressure is 245,000.
What gas pressure are we working with? We have 2 choices.
Oh,
4 ounces.
Sorry.
4 ounces. All right.
Sorry, man.
And then what's the BTU per cubic foot for Brian Head?
708.
And where in the world did you find that?
I found it on page 123, 124, I think.
Let's go see. Let's go see if we can find Brian Head. Where'd my cursor go? So I'm going to look down here. Didn't see it there.
125 below Cedar City.
Below Cedar City. All right, Brian Head. So what I would do if it was me is I would highlight that. That way it's easy to find, because you might need that information again someday when you're taking some test. BTU per cubic foot for Brian Head is 708. So I come up here, and I'm just going to go ahead and type that right in here so I don't have to keep going back. All right. What was your most remote distance? How'd you figure that out?
It was also 88 feet. I took the longest run.
Okay. So
adding the 20, the 10, the 30,
20,
the 10.
10, 30, 10, and 18, and you came up with
88
feet. All right. Section 1. Take us through the process of sizing that.
For section 1, 2, and 3, before I do it all, it's just a lot easier if you get your total BTUs for each run, each area, each section. So for section 1, it was 245. Section 2 was 175. Section 3 was 135. For section 1, you take that BTU and you divide it by 708. So section 1, I have 346.
Okay, 346 CFH, because you took your total BTUs, right?
Right.
Because that first section services every appliance in the system, correct?
Correct.
So you added all your BTUs up, divided by 708, and you got 346 CFH. And then where did you go to get the information to size the pipe?
Then after I got the CHF, I went to page 55 for the pipe size, and it came out to be 1.25 inches.
Okay, and we use the 4-ounce pressure table. Okay, and it came out to 1.25 inches because we needed 346. 1 inch only gives us 207. So we're over here. So now we got to move this guy over here. All right. And that gives us 1.25 inches. Okay. Take us through the process on section 2. What'd you do there?
Section 2, you're going to use the only remaining appliances in that draw, which is
Okay.
175K. And then you take that number and divide it by our BTU, which is 708. And when you do that, you get 147
What?
CFH. No, sorry, 247. My handwriting's really good. 247 CFH, and then you refer to that on the page 123. And that will give you, no, page 55 for the pipe size, and it is all, this one is 1.5 inches.
Hmm?
This one's 1.5 inches on the pipe size.
On section 2?
Yes.
So you need, let's go back and take a look at that. On
Wow.
section 2, you need 247 CFH, right?
Right.
Okay. So I come over here, and my most remote distance was 88. That isn't there, so I use 90. So I got to come across until I can find 247, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
look at that.
Hey, that'll work. 1.25 inches. How did you come up with 1.5 inches?
I must have been going too fast.
You must have been going too fast.
They
Okay.
call me Mr. Speed.
I only need 247. 1.25 inches will provide 424. Is that more than 247? Yep, that'll work.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go back over here. Oops, Brian had. Okay. So this one would also be 1.1
Inch.
slash. Now, that being said, if you were to have put 1.5 inch pipe in there, it certainly wouldn't hurt a damn thing. It just means you got that much more gas. Okay. You can go bigger. What we're looking for here is minimum pipe size. This is the smallest it can be in order to get enough gas there, okay? Oversizing gas line, never a problem. Section 3, please, sir.
Section 3, you just add the furnace and the water heater, and you get a total BTUs of 135. You divide that by our BTU for the area, which is 708, and you get 191.
Okay. And your pipe size for that?
CFH. And pipe size for that is 1 inch is what I have.
1 inch. Okay. And you just went over to the book. Again, you use the same distance every time. Never change distances. Only use the most remote. And he went across until he found what he needed for that one. And he determined that it was 1 inch. Right there, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay, take us through the rest. Come up
All right.
on the top.
I gotta use the bathroom, so I'm gonna do these ones quick. Is that all right?
You got them backwards?
Okay. No, I gotta do them a little faster. I'm gonna pee my pants. All right. Cooktop BTUs. You take the total BTU, you divide it by our 708, and you get 99 or 98.8. And the pipe size is 3/4.
Okay.
Fireplace is the same. Take the total BTU, divide it by the 708, and I got 56.4, and that also was 3/4. The furnace, take the total again, BTU divided by our area, 708, and I get 141, and I get a 1-inch pipe size.
All right.
Water heater, same thing. That one came out to be 49.4 with a 1/2-inch pipe.
1/2 inch. Okay, good job. Thanks, Jordan.
You're
Is
welcome.
there, before we continue with the rest, is there any questions? Anyone confused about anything? Anyone need to help with anything? Are you all getting this? And most importantly, were you all coming up with the same answers that we're getting here?
Hey, Wade,
Yeah.
I have a question on the distance.
Uh-huh.
Why was it the 18 and not the 5 and the 3?
So 20 plus 10 is 30, plus another 30 is 60, plus another 10 is 70, plus 5 is 75, plus 3 is 78. But up here we have 18. So again, 20, 30, 60, 70, 88.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So you're just running.
Whichever one is the most remote distance measured in feet. Okay.
Okay.
That's what you got to watch out for when you're looking at these schematics, because people
Yeah.
go, well, this one's the furthest one away, so it's got to be the most remote distance because it's the furthest one away. You got to look at the numbers. Okay.
Okay.
If I add these numbers up, 20, 10, 30, 10, 5, and 3, I come up with a smaller number than if I were to go over here. Okay. I come up with 78. If I go over to here, up here, I come up with 88. Okay. So always make sure it's the most remote distance. You might get a schematic where the most remote distance is this, whatever's over here, because you got 20, 10, and then 95 feet over here. That would be your most remote distance if you added those all up. But if you look at the schematic and just assume, well, the furthest point away from point A to point B is out here, those are the numbers I'm going to add up, you're going to get it all wrong. Okay.
Okay.
It is the actual numbers measured in feet. So what they put on there on the schematic. So find the longest distance. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Good deal.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Okay. Looks like everyone's comprehending pretty good. Okay, Carlos, did you say that you had these done, or that you did not have them done?
I got it here.
You got it? Okay. You're going to go ahead and take us through Park City. Again, we start off, what is the pressure we're working with?
It's 2 pounds.
We're on this one right here.
It's 2 psi, yeah.
And we're on this
that one?
right.
Oh, my bad. Let me find it in here. Park City, all right, it's 4 ounces.
All right, we're on the 4 ounces in Park City. Okay, so we got to go find the BTU content for Park City. So where am I going to find that at?
It is on page, let me see. Park City. One second, just looking at it.
Try 123.
Oh, it's page 123.
Okay,
And it is 803.
All right, so I'm going to go up to Park City. I'm just going to go ahead and put that right there. That way I've got it all remembered. Don't have to keep going back and look. By the way, the beauty of the app, if you guys have played with the app will do all this for you. It's great, but unfortunately they won't let you take the app into the test. You got to do it old school. So that's why we're doing it old school. All right. What's your most remote distance on this schematic, Carlos?
It is, I believe, 102.
102 feet. Correct.
Yeah.
102 feet. Okay. And again, you just got to look at the numbers and see where do I go to get the longest measurement. Okay. And it looks like to me, be 20, 90, 30, 40. Yeah. Probably that one right there. If I added those, all those ones up. Okay. That's the only number you work with. Once you get your most remote distance, that's the number you stick with. All right, Carlos, section 1. What'd you come up with? Take us through the process of sizing this first section.
So I added up all the BTUs. I got 440,000. I divided that by 803, and it came up with 547.94. I rounded that up to 548. Then I go to my chart, and let me move to the right chart. And since I have 102, so I go to 125, and I need to get 102. And to get 548, it is 2-inch gas line,
Okay.
I believe.
And we got to go down to our most remote distance. We didn't have a, let me delete a few things here so I'm not confusing everybody. Okay. We're on the 4-ounce side. Okay. 102 feet, but that doesn't exist, so we got to go down to 125, right? Always use the next highest. Okay, and I'm looking for 547 CFH. Man, I got to go clear out to 2-inch, right?
Yep.
Okay, there we go. All right. Everyone good with that? That's not too hard to do, right? Okay. Come back up here, pipe size. 2-inch. Okay, take us through the next one, Carlos, section 2. How'd you do that one?
All right, so I minused out the barbecuer. So now I got 365,000 BTUs. Divided that by 803, and I got 554.54. I rounded up to, or 454.54. I rounded up to 455. And then I go to my chart, and we're working on line 125, and I need 455. So that gives me an 1.5-inch gas line.
Inch and a half.
And that will take me up to 532 BTUs.
Perfect. Okay, so again, you got your CFH. Okay, you went back. You only used the most remote distance. It was 102. That doesn't exist on the chart, so you go to the next highest, and you just read across until you found the pipe size that will give you the CFH you need, correct? Okay.
Yep.
Good deal. All right. Okay, keep going. Section 3, what did we do there?
So I minused the cooktop, which was 70,000 BTUs.
Okay.
Now I'm working with 295,000 BTUs. Divide that by 803, and I come up with 367.37. So I kept that 367 CFH where I needed. And I go to my chart. Again, I'm working at 125, and it still is an 1.5 inches.
Still
So
an 1.5 inches.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. All right. Section 4.
All right. So for this one, I got the furnace, water heater, and the garage heater. So I'm working with 215,000 BTUs. Divide that by 803. I got 267.74. So I rounded up to 268. And then I take that to my line for 125. And I'm at 1.25 inches. I needed 268.
Good job. Okay, section 5.
All right, so for this one, I got the garage heater and the water heater. So I'm working with 115,000 BTUs. Divide that by 803. So that brings me at 143.21. So I've got 143 that I need. So that is inch pipe.
1-inch pipe. Very good. Barbecue.
So my barbecuer, I divided, hold on one second, I got this written down kind of weird here. So 75,000 divided by 803 gives me 93.39, and go to that on my, so that gives me 93 CFH is what I need, and so that gives me 1-inch pipe.
Okay. Just real quick, I'm going to recap over here. So for that barbecue, you needed 93. Okay. We use our most remote distance. And 3/4 only gives us 92. We're off by 1 CFH, but that's all it takes. Okay. 1 CFH difference. So we have to go up to the next size. Okay. Everyone with me there? Always go to the next size or you will be undersized. Okay. All right. Very good. Let's go back up. Okay. Cooktop. What'd you get there?
So 70,000 divided by 803 gives me 87.17. CFH is what I need. Go to my chart, and that gives me 3/4 inch pipe.
Very good. Okay. Fireplace.
Fireplace. So I got 40,000 divided by 803. So that is 49.81. So 50. Go to that on my chart, and that gives me 3/4 inch pipe.
Very good. Furnace number 1.
So furnace number 1 is, okay, so that one's 40,000 BTUs again. Sorry, I thought it was getting a phone call. So that again is 50 CFH that I need, and go over here to the chart, and so that gives me 3/4 inch pipe.
Yeah, almost done. Furnace number 2.
So yeah, furnace number 2. So 100,000 divided by 803 gives me 124.53. So I did 125. Go over to my chart, and that gives me 1-inch pipe.
1-inch pipe. Perfect. Water heater.
And the water is 35,000 BTUs divided by 803. I got 43.58, so I got 44 CFH. Go to my chart, and that gives me 1/2-inch pipe.
And the garage heater.
So the garage heater is 80,000 BTUs. Divide that by 803, so I have 100 CFH. Go to my chart, and that gives me 1-inch pipe.
1 inch. All right, very good. You just sized a big old giant gas line up in Park City. Good job. Okay, everybody get that? Everyone following along? Any questions? Anyone lost on anything? Okay, we have one last gas schematic that we're going to do. Tren, you want to take us through this last one? This other Park City schematic?
So first of all, we're working with 2 pounds.
We're working with 2 pounds instead of 4 ounces now, right?
Right.
It's critical on test day that you pay attention to this stuff here, okay? And we already know from the last one we did, that's our BTUs for cubic foot, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and plug that in there. And what's the most remote distance on this one, Tren?
102.
102. Well, same as the last one. Okay. Section 1, what'd you come up with?
So I got 440,000 BTUs. When I added all of them together. And then divided it by 803, got 548.
Okay.
And went over to the 2 in the good practices book.
So now you had to go to the 2 PSI table, right?
Yeah, which is
Okay.
quite interesting.
And we used our most remote distance. 102 doesn't exist, so we go to 125. And we come across until we find our CFH of 548. Ah, right there. And we come up here. Well, look at that. I can use a substantially smaller gas line if I go to a 2-pound system, right?
Right.
So we came up over here with 3/4 inch. All right. Same process. What'd you get on this one? What was your CFH?
The CFH was 455. And
Okay.
the next section 2, or is that what you're saying?
Yep. Section 2. Yep.
And then I went over to the 2 PSI and I got 3/4.
3/4. Okay. Section 3. What'd you come up with there on your CFH?
367, I believe. Maybe I might have wrote that. It might be 367 to 369. I'd have to.
367.
Okay. I can't pit, or yeah. Anyway, and then I got 1/2 inch on that one.
1/2 inch. And I will just make this easy for you. Every single one of these are 1/2 inch the rest of the way down, right? All of you that did it, because it's a 2 PSI system, every single one of these will be 1/2 inch all the way down. So section 4, we would come in at 268, and that would be 1/2 inch. And again, just to make sure you're on the right table, we're dealing with 2 PSI. Always use the most remote distance every time. If the number that you have doesn't exist, go up. Always go up and then up the line, and you'll find every one of these that we're doing now fit right there, okay? Because we're using a higher pressure system. So I'm just going to fill these in real quick for you so that when you go back to watch the video, you'll know what's going on. So there we had 143. Our barbecue, we had 93. Our cooktop, we had 87. Fireplace, 50. Furnace number 1, 50. Furnace number 2, 125. Water heater, 44. Garage heater, 100. And 1/2 inch will cover every one of them all the way down. So every one of these all the way down would be 1/2 inch because we're using the 2-pound chart, okay? All right. That's how you size gas line. I had you do a whole bunch of them because you've got to be good at this. You've got to know how to do it if you're going to get through the test, because you're going to be given schematics just like this, and they're going to ask you to size them, okay? Is there anybody that has any questions before we move on? We're going to go into our next stuff here. So now's the time to ask questions about gas piping or gas sizing and that type of stuff.
Wait, how long is the timed test?
Well, it was 100 years ago when I took it, and I think they gave me 2 hours. Is there any of you in here recently who has taken it?
It's 4 hours.
What's that?
It's 4 hours.
4 hours now. 4 hours for an open book exam.
Hell yeah.
It might be 2 hours.
Okay.
It was, I don't know. I think it's 4 hours though.
I thought I heard someone told me they'd upped it to 4 hours too, but even at
Hey,
2
Wade.
hours. Yeah. Even at 2 hours, it's only 100
It's
questions.
4 hours with a 10-minute break.
What?
Say that again.
It's 4 hours with a 10-minute break.
4 hours with a 10-minute break. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you've got 4 hours to do this exam, open book exam. If you put your study guide together right, you'll have all the information right at your fingertips, guys. There's no way that you can fail this exam if you just take the time to do the homework and assemble a well put together study guide that you can take right into the exam with you. It's 100% open book. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some stuff here and clean my screen up a little bit. Whoops. Let's see. Get rid of that one. That one. Get rid of that one. Do you guys want to take a little bit of a break before we move into the next section? Because it's going to be, we're going to be spending some time. So anybody need to get up and pee or walk around or whatever? Want to take 5 or 10 minutes?
That'd be nice.
Let's do that. We'll take a little break. Hey, Turner, if I hit stop recording and then start again, will it still work? Nope, he walked away.
And he walks away.
I'm just going to leave it recording because I don't want to screw up the recording, but feel free to take a break. If you're going to do something weird and your camera's on, please turn your camera off while you're doing something weird.
Hey, Wade.
You know, the guy from CNN who got caught on the Zoom meeting playing with himself because he didn't think anyone could see him. Do you have a question, Robin?
Yeah, I just need to tell you, I got to leave at around 10 o'clock to get to my job.
Okay, no worries. This will all be recorded, so when you got to leave, just go ahead and check out, and I'll have this posted. Hopefully, the videos take a little bit to process, but I'll try to have this posted by the end of the day. But if not, it'll be posted in a few days, and you can go back and just use the video and go through the stuff. So don't sweat it. You all good on gas line sizing now?
You. Yeah, I think I'm getting it.
Okay, and if you have any problems, call me or email me anytime, okay?
Will do, thank you.
All right, about 5 or 10 minutes, guys, and we'll get back at it. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started because it's been about 5 or 10 minutes, so the other guys can catch up or watch the video or whatever. All right, so next in your manual you're building, we're going to have a section on appliance installation. And so in the documents that I emailed to all of you, you're going to have this cover sheet. So this would go into your folder, and this would be your place marker for the next section of the stuff we're going to cover, which is appliance installation. Okay, so that'd be your cover sheet, and then you have an appliance install practice exam. Okay, so your homework, and you will have 2 weeks to do this homework because next week on Thursday I will be teaching a BPI Energy Auditor certification class. So again, you get a full 2 weeks to do your homework, okay? So your homework is going to be to complete this appliance installation practice exam. You will need the good practices book and the IFGC to answer the following questions, okay? And there's 30 of them, all right? You got 2 weeks to get that done, okay? And then after appliance installation, you'll have a cover sheet for combustion air, okay? You're gonna have a combustion air practice exam. Again, you have 2 weeks using the good practices book and the IFGC to answer all of these questions, okay? You got 25 of those about combustion air. Then you're gonna have grill size practices, okay? I'm going to walk you through a couple of these just so that you get the understanding of it, okay? So let me clean my screen up a little bit. First of all, Did everybody get all the documents, and are you following along with me? We're all good there? Nod your head or thumbs up or whatever. Okay, good deal. Okay, so I'm going to clean my screen up a little bit. And all right.
Could you make it a
Grill
little
size.
larger,
Make it a little larger.
please? Thank you.
Is that better?
It is.
Okay. All right. We got to talk about grill sizing, and we're going to do a couple of these things together. Okay. Because in the good practices book, in the combustion air section, they talk all about grill sizing and what they call net free area. Okay. So we have to go over to the good practices book, and we have to find the section on combustion air. Okay, so let's see. We go up here. In this thing, it gives us all the different sections. So we've done gas piping, workmanship, installation, all the stuff on piping, appliance installation. By the way, the app follows along just like this. It'll have these sections. Section 4, appliance installation. Okay. So, combustion air. Page 78 is where that starts. Okay, so that's where we're going to go because we're going to be talking about that. So, all right. So grill sizing. Scroll through this stuff real quick. This is where you're going to find the answers to the grill size or the combustion air practice exam. But here's the important stuff that we really need to know right here when it comes to sizing grills. Okay. So in calculating free area as required, consideration shall be given to the blocking effects of louvers. Okay. Grills have louvers in them, and louvers take up space. So they reduce the net free area. So for example, if I had a hole in the wall that was 10 inches by 10 inches, that would be 100 square inches, right? Because there's nothing else blocking it. It's just a hole in the wall, 10 by 10, 100 square inches. But if I start taking and adding louvers to this, whoops, stay there, stop. I want that tool. If I take and start adding louvers across this, okay, those louvers start blocking airspace, correct? It makes the net, what they call the net free area, smaller or less. That 10 by 10 hole is no longer 100 square inches of net free area because the louvers block it, okay? So let me delete this out of here and get that out of our way. Does that make sense to everybody? Nod your head, thumbs up. Okay. All right. So this is a really important factor. So we want to make sure that we understand this thoroughly. Okay. And the most important part is right down in here. Okay. The size of the opening required to provide the free area specified. If the design and free area is not known, it may be assumed that wood louvers will have 25% of the free area, and metal louvers and grills will have 75% of the free area. Louvers and grills shall be fixed in an open position. This is also in the IFGC 304. Okay, so you can sometimes buy a grill and it'll be stamped right on it, free area, 75 square inches. Well, if that's the case, you're fine, you know what it is. But most of the time, the louvers and grills we buy don't have the free area stamped or marked on them, do they? They don't. So we have to figure it out. And they tell us here how to do it. Wood louvers only have 25% free area. Metal have 75%. Why do you think wood is so much less? Tran, you're a woodworking guy. Why do you think wood louvers would have so much less free area?
I'm guessing it's because it's thicker, the wood, there's more.
Yeah, to make a wood grill, so imagine like the floor grill that's in the floor of your house. It's made out of metal. It's got those thin little louvers in it. Imagine trying to make that out of wood and make it durable so that when you step on it, it doesn't break. They have to make them much thicker and heavier, so they have a lot less free area, okay? So this is important to know. And they further go and give us instructions on how to figure this out. They give us an example. If a metal grill is used, okay, and 100 square inches of free area is required, so let's say that's what we need. We've done our calculation and we go, okay, we need 100 square inches of free area for combustion air, okay? I need to get a grill, if I'm going to use metal, that actually is 134 square inches of metal grill to allow 100 square inches of free area. I've got to get a bigger grill because of the louver effect. Does that make sense? The louvers block off the area. I don't have just a hole anymore. I've got a bunch of little holes because of the louvers, okay? And they show us how to do that. So I would just take 100 divided by 0.75, again, because metal grills are assumed to have 75% free area. And that tells me I need to find a grill that's 134 square inches. So what size grill might that be? How about a 12 by 12? That's 144 square inches, right? That'd work. That'd be bigger. Give us enough, okay? Same thing here. If a wood louver is used and 100 square inches of free area is required, I do the math, 100 divided by 0.25, I need 400 square inches of grill to get 100 square inches of free area. So what size grill am I going to need to get 400 square inches? A great big one, right? Okay, all right. So we're going to practice this because you've got to understand this and be able to do it on test day. So I've given you a practice sheet. It's 2 sheets long. This is going to be part of your homework. We're going to go through the first ones together. We're going to do a couple together so that you can get the hang of it and come back and watch the video if you forget. So in this particular case, we assume the free area is not known and answer the following questions. And I've given you examples. So here we have a 10 by 10 metal grill. How many square inches of free area exists in that 10 by 10 metal grill? So let's go to Carlos. Carlos, how am I going to figure this out? What is the math I'm going to use on this? Can you flip your mic on for us, Carlos?
Sorry. So you go 10 times 10, that is 100. And then you times that by 0.75 because we're using a metal grill. And that gave me 75 square inches.
10 times 10 equals 100.
Mm-hmm.
And I times by 0.75. Hey, so I've got 75 square inches of free area, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, let's do one more of these. So what would I do here on this one? Tran, take us through this one. What would be your process on this one?
12 times 12.
Okay, so I take 12 times 12, 144, and it's a wood grill. So what number do we have to use now if it's wood?
Times that by 0.25.
Times 0.25. So that wood grill only has 36 square inches of free area. Okay. Everyone with me on that? So that's part of your homework, is to finish this sheet. Okay. Now we've got this way where we're doing, there's two different ways to do it. So this one is doing the method they show us in the book, so timesing it. Okay. Now over here, we're going to do it a little different. We're going to solve for the following. So 100 square inches is needed. You want to use a metal grill. What size in square inches is required? I've given you the examples up here. So let's take Jordan. Jordan, walk us through the process. What calculations would you do to answer that question? 100 square inches is needed. You want to use a metal grill. What size in square inches is required? And I've given you the examples.
0.75.
So I take 100 divided by 0.75. I need a grill that's 133 square inches. Okay. So what size metal grill could I get that would give me 133 square inches? Will a 10 by 10 give me that? No. How about a 10 by 12? No.
12 by 12.
12 by 12. That's a very common size, right? Hey, cool. I can always go bigger. That's not a problem, but I can't go smaller. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and Jordan, do the other one for us. Again, 100 square inches is needed, and you want to use a wood grill this time. So what process would you go through?
Do the 100 divided by 0.25, which equals 400.
400 square inches. So, good Lord.
That's a big freaking grill.
What size wood grill do I need to get that 100 square inches?
A whole door.
A whole damn door. How about 40 times 40? That's way too big. I can go smaller. Let's try 20 by 20. Hey, a 20 by 20 wooden grill will give me 100 square inches. Okay. All right. So we've done 2 of each of those. So again, that's part of your homework. Finish the rest of those sheets. You've got to be proficient at this and understand how to do it, because you're going to see a lot of this on the test, I promise you. Okay. Combustion air is a big part of the RMGA exam. Okay. Any questions on grill sizing and net free area? Okay. Everyone good there? All right. Your next sheet that you have should look like this. Okay. Combustion air practice. And I've given you several of them. And you're going to see exactly this kind of stuff on the test that you're going to take. Okay. So we got to figure out how much combustion air we need for this room and answer all these questions down here. So we're going to start out with the total BTUs in the mechanical room. So here's my mechanical room. It's 12 feet, but let me blow this up a little bit. Make sure you guys can see this. Can you guys see that better now?
Yeah.
Okay. So on test day, they're going to give you these diagrams, and so they're going to start asking you questions about them. So they're going to say, like, what are the total BTUs in this mechanical room? So how am I going to figure that out? I have an 80,000 BTU furnace and a 35,000 BTU water heater. Well, that's pretty simple, right?
115.
Okay, so I just take 80,000 plus 35,000. 115,000 BTUs. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write that in there. Okay, what is the volume of the mechanical room? How am I going to figure that out? What math would I use to do that? Let's see, Tren, how would I figure out the volume of the mechanical room?
Well, it says 12 by 8 there.
Okay,
And then most houses are 8 feet.
what does this say over here?
All ceilings are 8 feet. Okay, there
Okay.
you go. So you go
Okay.
12.
So what math do I do to figure that out?
12 by 8, or 12 times 8.
Okay, get my damn calculator to move here. So I go 12 times 8.
Times
Is that
8.
it?
No, times
Oh,
8.
I got to do, times 8 because we're doing volume. That's 768 cubic feet. That's volume. Volume is always in cubic feet. Area would just be 12 by 8, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right. What is the volume of the family room? How am I going to figure that out?
You want me to do it?
Sure.
Okay, so you're going to do 12
Okay.
times 24.
12 times 24
times 8.
times 8. Okay, so the volume of my family room was, what was that, 2304. Oops. Cubic feet, okay? Volume of the bedroom, 12 by 12 by 8, correct?
Correct.
So 12 times 8 equals 1152. Okay. 1152 cubic feet. Now, the final question they're asking you down here is the mechanical room a confined space? Well, how in the heck are we going to determine that? So we go over to the good practices book, okay? And it gives us information. So let's start by reading this, required volume. If the volume of the room or space in which fuel burning appliances are installed is equal to or greater than, whoops, that's not what I wanted. I want my highlighter, equal to or greater than 50 cubic feet per 1,000 BTUs of combined input rating of all appliances in the space, okay? Then that means that you have the required volume in the space. This may be regarded as having required volume to provide combustion air. See warning. Warning. Homes built in accordance with current energy codes or green codes typically do not have sufficient infiltration. Hey, this is a term we're familiar with, right? Infiltration. To supply the combustion air requirements of gas-fired combustion appliances. A new home today typically has an infiltration rate of 0.35 ACH. That's a term we're familiar with in weatherization, right? What does that mean? Air changes an hour. This is natural. okay, which is less than the required for ACH. And combustion air will likely need to be brought in from the outside, okay? So they're telling you, and guess what? We have tools where we can determine this. We can determine with a blower door, right, and a little bit of math, what the natural ACH of a house is, okay? If it's less than 4, you cannot use the house or the air in the house for combustion air. But back up here to this. This is where we're working at right now. So if the room in which the appliances are installed is 50 cubic feet per 1,000 BTUs of combined input rating of all appliances in the space, this may be regarded as having required volume. Or in other words, yes, the room is big enough. There's enough air in there for combustion air that I do not need to pull it here to this. Is this mechanical room a confined space? So what is the volume of the mechanical room? It's 768 cubic feet, correct? Okay.
Yes.
All right. The total BTUs in this mechanical room is 115,000. So this is how I would figure this out. Okay. I would take 115,000 and I would divide that by 1,000, because remember what the code says, per 1,000 BTUs. Okay, so I take my total BTUs, divide by 1,000. Okay, oops. And that equals 115, right? Now I have to have how many cubic feet for every 1,000?
50.
So I would times that 115 by 50, and that equals 5750 cubic feet, okay? So I need 5,750 cubic feet for this room to be considered big enough or not a confined space, okay? Do I have 5,750 cubic feet in this mechanical room? I don't, right? I've only got 768 cubic feet. So yes, this is a confined space. It's not big enough. Yes, it is a confined space. In order for that mechanical room to not be considered a confined space, I would need to have 5,750 cubic feet of volume in that room, because I have 115,000 BTUs of appliances in there. And according to the code, I have to have 50 cubic feet per 1,000 BTUs of combined input rating of appliances in the space. Okay, is everybody with me so far? Okay, I'm going to take you over. So you've got several practices that you're going to do. I'm going to take you over to this next one. Let's see, which one do I want to do? This one here. Notice on this diagram, there's no door on this mechanical room, okay? Now, the code says, and they give you examples in the book, and by the way, the app will do all the calculations for you, okay? But they also say, all air from inside the building, okay? So I'm gonna highlight this. Where the space in which the appliances are installed does not meet the required volume rule, the space shall be provided with 2 permanent openings communicating with other spaces of sufficient volume so the combined volume of all spaces meets the criteria for the required volume room. 1 opening located in the upper 12 inches of the enclosure, and 1 opening located in the lower 12 inches of the enclosure. And this is important. Each opening shall have a free net area of not less than 1 square inch per 1,000 BTUs of a total input rating of appliances within the enclosure, and a minimum requirement of 100 square inches of free area. So real quick, let's go back here. If I were able to use the family room to pull extra combustion air, I could install 2 grills somewhere in this mechanical room, in the wall or the door, and those 2 grills, okay, one has to be located in the upper 12 inches, and one has to be located in the lower 12 inches, and each of them shall have a free area of not less than 1 square inch per 1,000 BTUs per total of input ratings of appliances, and under no circumstances can they ever be less than 100 square inches. Okay? Does that make sense to everyone? That's a little bit of a complicated code, but that's what it boils down. That is what it's telling you. If you're going to take and pull combustion air from this family room, because there's a door on here, okay? So I could put a grill, a transfer grill, or cut a hole in the wall, if you will, and one's got to be in the upper 12 inches and one in the lower 12 inches, okay? And it's just got to meet all of these requirements, and no matter what, they can never be smaller than 100 square inches of free area, okay? That's important to remember, okay? Even if you came up with a calculation that said you only needed 80 square inches of free area, well, the code says you can never go less than 100 square inches. That's super important to remember, okay? All right, now let me go back to the one over here where we had no door. So now I've taken the door off of there. So let's go back over to the code and see what it says about that. Combining spaces in different stories, okay? Different stories in a dwelling are considered connected when connected by one or more openings in doors or floors having a minimum free area of 2 square inches. Okay, so there's some information that you're going to need. And, oops, where's the other one I'm looking for? Hold on, give me a minute here. It's back up here. I think I missed it. Ah, here it is. Rooms communicating directly with the space in which the equipment is installed may be considered part of the calculated space as long as openings between them have no doors. Okay? You need to know that. So for example, on this one, and these are the kind of pictures and schematics you're going to get on the exam. This one has no door. The door's missing. So now I can include the family room as part of this because there's no door, okay? If there is a door, whoops, okay, I could put grills on there, assuming that there's enough volume in here. I would have to figure out, is there enough volume in there? Now, what about the bedroom? Can I ever include a bedroom in a combustion air calculation? Anyone?
No.
No,
No.
never. Bedrooms are prohibited. You cannot pull combustion air from a bedroom, okay? You can pull them from any other connected room, okay? If there's no doors, or if you're going to add grills. So remember the grills rules, okay? They give you some examples here, okay? You can use other levels. So like say you got a basement and stairs that go up to another level, as long as you have permanent openings communicating with the other spaces of sufficient volume, so the combined volume of all spaces meets the criteria for required volume rule, okay? Different stories. Again, they give you information about that. It's also in the IFGC, okay? And then they show you some examples. And this is the other thing you guys are going to need to know about, okay? If you start pulling combustion air from the outside, there are a couple of different methods. One method is the two opening method, okay? So you need to read and be familiar with this, because the only way you're going to get these practice exams done is to understand that combustion air code, okay? We've done the first one together. All the other ones, I'm going to let you guys do them on your own. The answers are all in the book, okay? So outside air, if I'm pulling all my combustion air from the outdoors, it shall be obtained using one of the following methods. I can use the two opening method, and it gives me the rules and the regulations for using the two opening method. And you have to follow those rules if that's what you're going to do, okay? Vertical or direct, okay? So vertical means up and down or directly through the wall, and they give you some instructions about that. So you have to have 1 square inch per 4,000 BTUs if you're doing a vertical or direct. So an example of a direct, this is a direct opening to the outside. It's a hole in the wall to the outside, okay? A vertical opening would be something that goes up into the attic maybe, okay? So they give you some examples here. Again, you're going to need to be familiar with these if you're going to be able to get through the practice exams I've given you, okay? So make sure you know where to get these, or use the app, and guess what? The app will calculate it all for you. But you can't take the app into the test with you. Horizontal. If you run horizontally, so across, so I run an 8-inch pipe 10 feet across the mechanical room to bring in combustion air, well then I've got to have 1 square inch per 2,000 BTUs, okay? And they give you some examples. So here I've got some duct run across to bring my combustion air in, okay? And depending on which configuration you're using, you've got different requirements you have to meet, okay? One opening, I can do one opening. In that case, I have to have 1 square inch per 3,000 BTUs, okay? And they talk about, so again, they give us some examples, okay? Okay, let's see, what else? Let me make sure there's nothing else that you need to know here. Don't need to worry about that. Don't worry about the alternate formula. Okay. So I've kind of shown everything that you're going to need to know and read and understand in order for you to get through all these practices that I've given you. And this is the kind of stuff you're going to see on test day. They're going to give you a blueprint, if you will, or a schematic, and it's going to have all this various information on it. And then they're going to start asking you a bunch of questions about it. And you've got to be able to answer those questions. And notice as I go up, they get harder and harder, and there's more and more information, okay? I do that on purpose so that By the time you're done with number 8, you should be the grand master of combustion air sizing, as long as you read and follow the rules, okay? And they're all in the book. They're in the IFGC. And if you have the app, well, the app will calculate it all for you. Unfortunately, that's not going to help you on test day, because test day you got to do it this way, old school, okay? All right. Any questions before we end today's class?
Hey, Wade, can I say something that I don't know that you'll need to know for RMGA, but it is good information when you're weatherizing homes?
Absolutely. Please chime in.
So when you're trying to decide whether or not you can take the air from inside the house, the app will ask you if the house is too tight. But the calculation, Wade just talked about it a second ago, there is a calculation, but you have to convert natural air changes per hour to air changes at 50. And there's a factor, and there's a wind factor, and a few things that kind of come into play. And basically what I've found, I've run a bunch of different ones. What I've found is anytime you get somewhere around 4.6 to 5 air changes per hour at 50, that house is too tight and you should not be using air from inside the house.
Yes.
So to be safe within our program, if you're working on a house and when you're done weatherizing it, it's going to be tighter than 5 air changes per hour, you should not be taking air from inside the house. That's not a perfect rule of thumb, but it's pretty close.
It's a great point. Thank you for bringing it up. Yes, you guys do a good job of making homes very tight. And I have seen where you've made a home so tight, but the plan was, well, we have enough space, we have required volume, we're going to use combustion air from inside the house, but you had made the house too tight, so it didn't pass. So you had to go back and add combustion air. So, and that rule of thumb is very good. Turner, Dalton, and myself have all been kind of looking, and right at that 5 ACH 50 point, when you start converting that to natural, you're going to be finding your houses are too tight to use indoor air for combustion purposes. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up.